Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh, I didn't do
Yeah.
the quest yet, even though I.
Yeah, if you click on my name, the butterfly like pops over the Discord logo.
Interesting.
I'm still surprised they never brought back the arcane skins.
There's still time.
Nobody likes them.
It's true.
Apparently.
There's still time. They'll probably come back during this next season.
I want new ones.
Wasn't that part of the leak that there were new ones coming?
I believe so.
I want to get a skin of Maggie? Question mark? Is that a character?
Mel? Because I want Mel.
I don't know. I feel like it's a character that people don't like. I don't remember the character's name.
I like every character in that show, I feel like.
There's a character, I've seen the scene online.
What do they look like? Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. Have you seen the clip?
Yeah, that's why I knew that people don't like it.
Did you see the Charlie XCX song they play with? It's like, boom, clap. It's so good. It's like, if you know, you know. I'm not going to spoil anything.
Did Todd just really say if you know about Charlie XCX?
No,
about Arcane.
Anyways, welcome, everyone, to the Pass Control Podcast, a show where a couple of best friends talk about the latest in video games and nerd culture. Sometimes we have guests, sometimes we talk about Charlie XCX too much. Either way, we have a new episode for you each and every week. As always, I'm your host, Brenden, and joining me on this lovely Saturday evening is the anime senpai himself, Mr. Michael Desir. Mike, how are you tonight?
I'd argue that we don't talk about Charlie XCX enough.
Well, what do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about, Mike?
I agree.
The floor is yours.
Album of the year? What else?
Perhaps.
Didn't the album not come out this year?
It did. What's it called? It didn't come out this year, though.
Rat? Which one is
Chaperone. Chaperone was 2022. That's like the one that everyone's...
My favorite Charlie XCX thing is that I was in Target the other day and her like updated version of Brat came out.
It's so good too. It's so good.
And on the cover, it's like Brat, but with more. Like the title of the thing is like Brat, but with more songs. Like
yeah, right. So it's actually surprising. It's not as good as Brat, but I was surprised at how good it actually is.
My favorite favorite Charlie XCX thing is her appearance in "Here We Go" by The Lonely Island.
Brat's a no skip.
Brat's a no skip. GNX is a no skip for me. Also joining us tonight is the pop star Papa himself, fucking Todd Gary. I don't know. Todd likes pop music, so there we go. He likes a lot of pop
I feel like
music.
I'm getting like a lot into like synth pop music, if that's even a fucking thing though. What is Charlie XCX? It's more like club pop. Like I don't even know what that category is called. Magdalena Bay.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Sure.
All that shit.
Sure. And rounding us out tonight, of course, is the Disney daddy himself, Mr. Dominic 40. Dom, how are you doing tonight?
I'm here.
We love to see it. We had a great show for you tonight. This is, of course, the PTC Movie Club for November. So if you have not watched Palm Springs, this is one of your final opportunities to press pause on this episode and come back when you are ready to listen to us talk about Palm Springs, which, honestly, if you haven't watched the movie, I'll say it's better to go in with no knowledge. So don't let us spoil this movie for you. But before,
you going blind?
Yes.
Knew nothing.
I don't know anything about any movie pretty much that we ever pick for these things.
We talked about it last week. I forget, or maybe it was November 9th that we had talked about it.
I mean, I'm sure whatever I said the movie was about was incorrect. Maybe not fully incorrect. I may have got like a broad stroke thing correct, but we'll get there. We're not there right now.
I mean, I think when you guessed what the movie was, you said the most vague thing that you could.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Theoretically, you were
something was correct.
But...
Yeah. But before we get into Palm Springs, a couple of quick housekeeping things. This episode of the Pass Control Podcast is sponsored by our good friends at Goodnight Fatty. If you're in the Salem, Massachusetts area or the North Shore of Massachusetts on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday evening, you want yourself something hot, something sweet, something tasty, something fresh out of the oven, you can head on down to 1 Washington Square and get yourself a delicious fatty. And if you're unaware of what a fatty is, you can check them out on social media at Goodnight Fatty and at Good Morning Chubby and educate yourself on these tasty, tasty treats. And I promise you won't be disappointed. Mike, did you get your free fatty last night?
I didn't.
Oh, you fucked up.
I was too lazy. You didn't. Todd did see me. Todd did not recognize what was happening.
I did once you. Yeah, it wasn't working. Was it not working? It
just didn't turn on. I don't know.
No.
So I was like,
you had to walk home.
I walked to the train station.
Mike, why didn't you just
got a-
fucking tell me? I would have drove you home.
It didn't matter. I walked to the train station. I locked my scooter up, took a bike, rode it to like the closest bike stop to me, walked home, got in my car, drove back to the train station, picked up my scooter and drove home. And after all that, I'm like, I'm not.
Mike,
back outside.
that's a garbage night. You should have told me that you were doing that. I would have.
How far away is his house from that area?
I mean, it's not far, but still, like, it's fucking freezing out. It's the end of the night.
It
Like,
was very cold.
yeah.
I was like not dressed for the occasion.
my car was right there. We parked right at the museum. We were right there. And Todd was right there. Todd was watching you going, fuck that guy. That guy's the
you know
worst
what's so
guy.
Funny? They were like, why isn't he riding? And I'm like, oh, it's probably a lot of people right here. He probably wants to wait till he gets through this area. That was literally my reaction to it. Legit.
Everybody wave.
Mike is walking it. He's got his head hanging down. Fucking boom, 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 boom
Yeah,
is
that was
playing in the
great
background.
background.
Yeah.
You would have had to sit on Amanda's lap, I think. Kid seats.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
Anyways, you fucked
So,
up
yeah,
and
I
not
was-
getting your free fatty. But the cookies are good. I got the Christmas Fruity Pebbles one. Jen got the s'mores one, or not s'mores.
Maybe I'll get one tomorrow.
hot chocolate.
I don't know.
Do it up. Do it up.
I'll spend my hard-earned cash to get one of these cookies.
Got to do it. Small Business Saturday, Mike. Small Business Sunday. You can do it.
Yeah.
I believe in you. So yeah, they are the sponsors of this week's episode 448 of the Pass Control Podcast. And off the top of the show, I will say, if you're a friend of the show, fan of the show, you want to support the show, a bunch of ways to do that. The easiest way to do that, the freest way to do that, and quite frankly, one of the most important ways to do that is leave us a quick 5-star review wherever you listen to the show, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube comment, wherever it may be. Leave us a nice review, interact with us in some way. It helps us continue to grow the show. It helps more people discover us. Super beneficial. We appreciate you if you take the time to do that. If you are an audio listener, as a reminder, we do record the show live every week at twitch.tv/passcontroller. So you can catch us live. If you can't make the live show, no worries. Just search Pass the Controller Podcast on YouTube. You can watch the VOD later at your convenience. I think that'll do it for housekeeping. But let's see here. Final chance. If you don't want to have anything about Palm Springs spoiled for you, this is your final chance to pause this episode and come back. Otherwise, we are going to dive right into 2020's Palm Springs. As we do with all of these, we will start with a little Rotten Tomato roundup. I'm actually surprised. I wasn't sure how critics and audiences were gonna receive this film, but I'm surprised by this. What are we thinking, gentlemen? What do we think that Roddy Tom meter is, Mike?
Let's see. I feel like you saying that you were surprised by the response means that it was probably higher.
Maybe.
I
don't know. Does that mean so? If I was surprised by it, Mike, and they were higher, does that mean I didn't like the movie?
No, I think you liked the movie. I feel like you liked other Sandberg things or other things that we picked up that were rated poorly despite you liking it. Meaning that you liked it, saw it, you're like, it's probably not going to get good ratings. Oh, actually, they did like it. Do-do-do-do-do. Doopy-doopy-doo. Which is to say, but I feel like this is going to fall in like a nice 80 category. I'm going to say 88.
Okay.
I was gonna say you asshole.
So 88 critic, and then what do you think of that popcorn meter?
Eating my popcorn. Oh, boy. Fucking movies, right? I'm gonna say 90.
Okay. Todd, what are you thinking?
I'm gonna go opposite. I'm gonna go 90 critic, 88.
Whoa. Okay.
You're a piece of shit.
Dom, take us home. What are you thinking here? What do you think Palm Springs?
I'm gonna go 89 for both.
I happen to know that this film was nominated for Best Picture of the Year, or Best Comedy of the Year, at least. So I'm going to go 95-90.
Pew, pew, pew. So that'll put Dom closest to critic, but Todd closest to popcorn. It has a 94.89 over on Rotten Tomatoes. Let me X out of that.
Sandberg was also nominated for Best Actor in a musical or comedy.
Good for him. He earned it.
That I did not know. I didn't look at awards yet for this.
Wait,
So that's
what was it for, like Blockbuster? Or what was it like?
Golden Globe, I think.
Oh.
Golden Globe nominated for Best Picture, and Andy Samberg was nominated for Best Actor in a musical comedy.
He lost to Borat, I believe.
I'm assuming that this film did not have a real.
Hamilton was also both.
I think it was just on
categories.
Hulu, was it not?
It had some
was a
sort of
Hulu.
release because I'm assuming that they needed it for maybe award consideration because it does have an extremely low box office of 1.5 million. But again, I'm assuming that is just because they put a limited release out for some reason.
It was a Hulu original, so
Yeah.
I don't know how Hulu does their like Netflix does, like we're gonna be in this amount of theaters for this amount of time. I don't know how if Hulu has like figured that out yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously they tried, but
Yeah. So off the top, before we dive into it, was this everyone's first time watching it?
I think it was literally only my first time and your first time.
Oh, okay. So for you, Mike, how are you feeling overall on Palm Springs?
I enjoyed it. I think I had a good time watching it. I think because I knew the conceit going into it, like I was prepared for like all the things that happened at the very beginning. As a matter of fact, I actually was like pleased that that's how the movie started. Because as soon as I started seeing how he's acting, I'm like, oh, this is not his first rodeo.
I will admit that rewatching this film, I forgot that it was so chaotic at the beginning. I forgot that like you weren't introduced to the fact that he was already in it.
Yeah.
It's such a great way to do it. Like it's better that it started that way, in my opinion, and not like it starts on the first loop.
Yeah.
And you figure that out after.
Did they ever say how long he's been in them?
It does start on the first loop, just not for him.
So here,
For her first loop.
Yes. So here's what I don't know, Todd, but it seems like if there isn't a definitive answer, there are a lot of people that theorize.
The director said 40 years, I think.
Okay.
How long?
40 years.
40?
I believe the director said.
Oh, no way!
Years.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
One of the most aggravating things about this film experience for me is that I never look things up. I don't look anything up. I don't want to look things up. I don't want knowledge if I don't already have it. I just want to see it and experience it for myself and go from there. But the day that I watched the movie, I was just trying to budget my time out that day and wanted to make sure, like, oh, is this the right day for me to watch this, or should I watch a different day, whatever. So I Googled how long is Palm Springs, because I just wanted to know how long the movie was. And instead, I was greeted with like 7 different articles. How long is Neil stuck in Palm Springs? And I was like, well, I don't like immediately like X out of the window. I'm like, nope,
Yeah,
I don't want to know any of that. Like, I don't, what does that even mean? So then I had some sort of like in the back of my brain, like, okay, well, it's either going to be some sort of time loop thing, or it's going to be some sort of like, they're stuck here for some reason. Like, what is the thing? So it fucking aggravated me so much that I got that little just like hat tip of like, huh? What do we got here? What do we got?
The director's actual
movie is like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it was short.
Yeah,
Super short.
yeah. I wish it was longer.
I told you would have liked it. The director actual answer was between 40 and 40 million years.
Yeah. Well, and we'll get to it because I don't understand the dinosaurs, but we'll get to it. But we'll fucking get to it. So, Mike, overall, you enjoyed it?
Mm-hmm.
Did either of your opinions change in your rewatch?
I just love Christina Milioti. I love her.
No, that's
She needs to be in more stuff. She needs to fucking be, like, she's barely been in anything. Mostly TV, a couple movies here and there.
There's one thing that I picked up from rewatching it that we can talk about after, but I still enjoy this film.
Okay. Yeah, I will say I really enjoyed it. I think just broad strokes, I think the like flow of the film works really well. We already talked about it a little bit, but how it starts sort of like this has been an ongoing thing. You're kind of getting thrown into this ongoing thing without knowing you're getting thrown into it, which I think works really well. I think the way it all sort of continues to play out from there, where it jumps around, where you'll get the moment where it goes from her perspective and you're seeing her first time in the loop. Like, I think it flows very nicely. I think the acting is really fucking good in this movie. I think especially the two of them, and J.K. Simmons is good too. He's in a lot less of the movie. But I think Andy and Kristen are fantastic in this movie. There's a lot of really great dialogue that I really, really liked in this film. It's just it's a solid fucking movie. I'm happy to hear that I got some sort of award recognition, because I feel like good comedies don't really get a lot of that, and this movie's really fucking good. I'm so happy that this was a pick, because I don't know if I would have watched this at any point. I don't know if it was even on my radar, really. I kind of forgot that it existed.
I feel like me and Todd probably both told you guys to watch this movie before. So.
Yeah,
I think it was. I know it was on my radar specifically because I knew when I opened up Hulu, I'm like, I could search for the movie, or I could just go to my watch list thing. If I
And it was there.
over the movies, it was like the second movie I had pinned up there.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, I don't know if
The text I sent you was specifically because I'd already seen through the credits.
No. Recently, I don't remember if it was this month or like we were talking about it last month, like that I was gonna pick this, and I had said that there was a third actor in this movie. It may have been when we were playing the game. I was like, "Oh, if you had watched this movie, you would know a third actor that you could use to get out of it."
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons was the third actor, and that I had mentioned that like I really enjoyed his performance in this movie. Like he was like a good play off of them.
I never realized Superman was in the movie too. Like
I know.
on
I was like,
watch,
Tyler,
oh.
Tyler, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we can jump right into it. I didn't know what to expect. Even having that little bit of a hat tip of like, okay, there's something to consider with time here. I really didn't know what to expect, and I feel like the movie just kind of hits the ground running, especially because you're in the midst of Andy being in these loops for who knows how long at this point, and it allows for the beginning of the film to be so like keep you off balance in a way, because it's clear they're at a wedding. Everyone else is dressed up. He's in a Hawaiian shirt. He's like acting kind of weird in scenarios where maybe like that's just not how you would act in these things if it was just a regular scenario. And then he starts to kind of reveal his cards a little bit more to us, the viewer, where he's, seemingly knows a lot of information that he shouldn't know for whatever reason. Whether it's the like revealing that he knows his girlfriend is going to cheat on, like just there's a lot of stuff like that. I think the wedding speech. I think he might mention the perfume or the cologne at the beginning of the film too. The one that comes up later as a plot point, orchid, whatever.
He does. He does after he does the dance. Like he does everybody's dances behind them while he's like staring at her, like dancing up to her. He's like doing everybody's like dances behind them. And then he like gets up to her and is like standing at the table and like sniffing. And she's like, "What are you smelling for?" He's like, orchids of what, like orchid explosion. That's what he smelled. Yeah.
And he always mentions like the perfume company too. It's just like a stupid running gag that follows throughout the whole movie. But then when
ends up being important.
And then when you get the reveal of what's going on, it makes the beginning of the movie way more impactful, because it's like it starts off with him having sex with Misty, and he's clearly like just not into that for, I'm assuming, just the fact that A, he's stuck in this loop, B, he knows he's cheating on her. Like, there's just reasons for him to not want to be sexually aroused. So but in that scene at the beginning when you're seeing it for the first time,
I respect him for still trying to jerk off while she's looking through her things.
also a very funny scene.
Just screaming no.
Uh,
He's just like standing there going, and she's yelling, no,
She's like,
no, no.
No, shit. I can't find my grandmother's necklace is in I'm like, dedication, bro.
it's.
Do you think you'd be able to? Do you think you'd be able to kill yourself even if you were in there for like years and years and years?
They tried
Do you
to.
think you'd be-
He literally
No, I'm
says you
saying,
can't.
do you think you would
Oh.
be able to try? Like
Probably.
if you were in that
I think at a certain
I don't
point,
know
I
if
would
I
just
would
be
be able
like,
to do it.
I-
I'd be like,
I think you'd be
I'm not
trying
gonna wake
shit.
up.
I mean, listen, if you're in there for 40 years or whatever the other one was, 40 million or whatever, like if you're in there for that long, like there's things you're gonna, like there's just things you're gonna try to do. You're gonna get bored.
I'd beat so many games.
I'd want to say that I don't think I would try to kill myself, but you don't really know until you're in that like permanent scenario.
If I was gonna try to kill myself, the only way would be drugs. Probably. I don't think I'd be able to bring myself to do it any other way.
No,
I'd just be
I
like,
think I would
"What do we
pull. I
get
think I
here?"
would pull either the truck thing or, well, I guess multiple versions involve the truck, but either going in front of the truck or doing the car thing, but doing it.
Poster in the bath.
Yeah, doing it the way that Andy did it. I can't remember the character's name. Niles.
Niles, yeah.
Like he's like, oh, listen, you don't want to be stuck in the hospital. Like I'm going for a quick death.
Yeah. But like the I think it does, like plot wise, it does a really good job of kind of like laying the groundwork hidden to you and then slowly revealing stuff, and then when it finally pulls the curtain back, it makes things that were revealed early that you didn't have that knowledge for a little more interesting. Like when J.K. Simmons' character shows up at the beginning and shoots him with fucking like bow and arrows and shit. It's like
Right.
it's so wildly out of place for the movie in that part of the film, because you're like, what the fuck is going on right now? And then he crawls into a glowing cave. It's like it's all so fantastical so quickly, and then it's like, oh, okay. But now with that explanation, now it makes like now it checks out. It's fine.
I love the scene when when he goes and talks to Roy and they sit down and have a beer.
Yeah.
And he's like, look, he's just watering shit, and he's like, this is a good day. It's like
That is a funny line where he's like, my kid's just watering shit.
Yeah.
She's gonna paint a picture where we're all animals. Like it's just
That's like if being a family man, like that's like in retrospect, it's like if that's the one day you have to live over and over again. That's a fucking pretty good day.
You gotta find your Irvine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We're now jumping from the beginning to the basically end of the film. So why don't we reel it
I
back?
mean, it's a short one.
Yeah.
It's a time loop movie.
Yeah,
It's a time
exactly,
loop
exactly.
movie.
We're caught in a loop.
We can jump around.
It does make me kind of question, and it doesn't break the movie for me because I really don't care. But I'm curious if anyone else has opinions just on like, so if they're all caught in this loop, does that mean that like the whole world is caught in a loop? Does that mean that when they break out of the loop and J.K. Simmons' character is still stuck in the loop? Like, what does that mean for everyone's?
I mean, we saw what happened.
J.K. Simmons was still stuck in the loop, and they were already out.
No,
Andy was dressed in his wedding attire.
Yeah, so I
J.K.
guess
Simmons
does
was
that
trying to ask him questions, and he had no idea. He was out of the loop.
I guess so. I guess the answer then that I'm searching for, we're saying it without saying it. This is like a
It's a
multiverse situation.
Which
Okay.
Is what Niles didn't want to like.
Yeah.
They
also touched on that.
Yeah.
Now I'm confused. Wait, you're saying J.K. Simmons was out of the loop? Roy was out of the loop?
No, Roy stays there.
Roy was still in the loop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I was confused. I was like, wait a second.
Roy was still in the loop, and they were out. That's why he went up to Andy, and he was Niles, and he was like still in his like wedding attire, and like didn't have any idea who Niles was. I mean, Roy was.
Do we?
Roy was still in a loop that the other guys were not in a loop.
Do we think Roy stays in the loop? I think
No.
he does. I think he does.
No, I think because he clearly came down to like find out more information. He's like, oh, so you guys actually pulled it off. Now I can get out. So like he has the.
I don't know, but he seems happy being stuck in where he is in the loop.
He made a point of saying like, "I'll never get to see my daughter."
Oh, that's
I'll
true.
never get
That's
to walk
true.
my
Yeah.
daughter down the aisle.
Yeah.
So this might be a good point to introduce the topic that I found myself in while I was rewatching. The Nana.
Yep,
who
it's
comes
so
up
funny,
to Andy
dude.
at the beginning of the film
Yep.
and says, "That is one of the greatest speeches that I've ever heard, and I've been to a lot of weddings." And Andy, like, or Niles, whatever,
Yeah.
gives her like kind of a weird look, like, "You've never said this to me before. Like, what is going on here?" And at the end, she's talking to Sarah, Kristen's character,
Mhm.
and says, "I think it's about time that you guys get out of here now."
Yeah.
As if she's also
She's
in the
there.
loop
Yeah,
and
I,
like
felt, I
has
kind of got the
information
vibe that
about
she
them.
was there. Yeah.
So-
Or she is like the
Overseer?
I was gonna use a different movie, so like Chevy Chase's character in Hot Tub Time Machine, where like
Yep.
it's obvious that he's like not part of the
Yeah.
time. He is like an outside force, like watching, like interacting and watching.
Yeah.
Maybe she created the loop.
Maybe she's in the
Maybe.
loop.
I don't know. But it is very clear that, I mean, I guess there's also not necessarily stopping the possibility of other people at that wedding being aware that they're in a loop. It's like they could have found their way into the cave.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's just that like how long do you go without interacting
yeah,
with another
I
person
think-
that's
Exactly. I feel like because of how the way Niles acted, and then also Sarah, like
he
at a
had
certain
no,
point, you
yeah.
don't know when people are not going like with the script.
Niles had no regard for like anything that was going on. Like the whole time, like wasn't wearing a suit, like didn't give a shit about what was happening at the wedding.
But
like,
but like people don't like. I agree. Like you would see that and be like, huh? But like no one's really, and unless aggressive things happen, no one really reacts to their changes.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is Niles and Sarah would recognize if someone is doing something, like if you're going out and then all of a sudden,
But
oh,
Andy
you're
did,
not wearing the same.
but Andy did recognize it with the grandma, but he just kept moving.
It apparently happened twice, and to my interpretation of the first time was more like when she said it, the way I interpreted it, was he was like, yeah, you've been to a lot of weddings because we've been the same one over and over again. It didn't look like a recognition of, that's weird that you said it this time. More like, oh, ironic that you're saying that because I've been at this wedding so many times. Like I've been to this wedding, one wedding, more times than you've been to any wedding.
well,
That
I
was
guess
how
my thought was he's given that speech before. He knows, like we know that he's given that speech before because he said
Okay.
that he's used it to hook up with her before. So
Okay.
like his face read like I've given this speech before and you've never come up and said this to me before. That was kind of like
Okay.
the way that I had read it.
That makes sense. And I did think it was odd for her to say that thing that she said to Sarah at the end. That struck me more as, what do you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I
so
feel
her
those other
quote is, she's seen more weddings in her life than you can imagine. That makes it seem like she is somehow aware of the loop.
Yeah, but again, not to discredit this because like we've already established that it's very much a possibility. But I took that again to be more like akin to what that Pool said, where he's like, where Niles had said like, "Hey, what do you think of the day?" And the guy's like, "The day's still young. Talk to me when the day is over," or something like that. Like it was one of those things that is ironic given the context that Niles has been repeating the day. That's how I, again, interpreted it at the time. But I see how you can say like, oh, maybe she is some sort of other entity that is involved with the loop.
I mean, I have this article up here that 3 main theories about Nana Schleifen. Can I scroll through this and find? According to this theory, this is an article on thepopculturestudio.com. It looks like they pulled these from Reddit, maybe. According to this theory, when Nana tells Niles she's been to more weddings than he can imagine, she just means that as someone who's long in the tooth, she's quite literally seen a lot of weddings. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, sure. Second
That's fine. That's fine as it stands alone.
Yes.
But then she goes. the second thing is like the thing that makes you go back. Like,
yeah. Second theory argues Nana was aware of the time loop on some level, with the consensus being that this is because she's stuck in it herself. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know if it's giving any real... Okay, it's not really giving any like argument for that. It's just saying that. Third and final theory is... where does this link take me? Those who argue that Sarah was displaced in the past after breaking free from the time loop and wound up marrying her grandfather and becoming her own grandmother?
That's not redonkulous.
Okay.
I'm not even entertaining that
Futurama
one.
and was like, oh, let me make that into a movie. No.
Not even entertaining that one.
Okay, so this theory is saying, what if the explosion sent different versions of Niles and Sarah across the time stream? One version of Sarah was sent back to the 1950s or 60s. Sarah grew older, had children. One of them being Sarah. She saw Niles for possibly the first time in 50 years and couldn't help but talk to him one last time. And when she saw her past self, she needed a little pick-me-up. She tried to encourage her, but not being the sentimental type, couldn't think of very much to say. This is what caused the awkward moment between them, where all Nana could think of was one event that she knew would strike a chord with her younger self.
Man, you stretch.
Yeah, instead of
These aren't
just
my
stopping,
theories. This is a
instead
Reddit
of
thread.
just stopping the time loop from happening to begin with, she like has to like watch this whole thing play out.
Now it's part of like a larger time loop where it's like you need to go through these loops a million times, and then once I see you standing over there in the corner, after doing the speech and then standing there in the dress, then I can go over and be like, "Hey, you're getting out of here, right?" Thereby setting in place the future events of time travel.
Is there a scenario?
Yes.
The loop does not reset until the interloper, the right word for them, or no?
We'll go with it.
The loop would not theoretically reset now that there's three of them, until all three of them go to sleep and or die?
I think they just all wake up at the same time.
Okay. So once they have all...
So theoretically, like... okay, so let's use the one where they were pulled over by the police and J.K. Simmons was brought to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Niles and Sarah would like be in a like sleep state until Roy dies.
Andy, okay. Or yes, yeah, because he was in the ICU. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. I don't know. It's an interesting thing to think about the grandma specifically, like what's going on there, and it could just be nothing, but yeah.
The first time I watched it, I didn't really pay much attention to it, but I definitely something I was like, especially the last time you see her, I was like, oh, wait a second.
The first time we like see her and she says it, I was like, that's a weird thing to say, and probably just having like already seen the movie, like knowing like the context of what she's saying in the context of the film, and then like she says that thing to Sarah at the end. I was like, there's no way, like that was put there for a reason, like her saying both of those things.
Moving on from that, I don't even know where to go from there. Like, what are there things people want to talk about that they did it? Go ahead.
I want to. It's kind of like the end. I mean, I guess we can jump there, but my first time watching the end, I remember like the dinosaur scene and everything, but I don't remember the family being there, and I'm just very confused by the family being there because like, did he just pull everyone from that Palm Springs place from the wedding? Did they pull everyone with them to this dinosaur land, or like, you know what I'm saying?
No, I don't know what you're saying. What?
So like, why? Like the family was there, the pool that they're usually in, you know, like the pool that they would go to.
The end of the film, they break the loop, and it's the next day.
But like,
dinosaur scene was like a few.
So dinosaurs show up at the end of the movie.
They pan out.
Yes.
And it's like while they're at that pool. So like, I was confused. I'm like, did they pull everyone to that time?
So that's what I don't understand either, because the scene where they're together and it looks like they're watching stars, but they're really watching dinosaurs. They're also super high. So I just assumed that like, oh, they're just fucking whatever on mushrooms or whatever they were taking. But at the end of the film, like Todd's saying, when it pans out from family
did
returning
forget that
home,
there's
there are dinosaurs walking
Like
in the
stegosaurs and
distance.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, maybe they broke time in order to get out of the loop.
like a bunch of different things moved, merged,
it's just
flat crashed.
It's just reality zero now.
Yeah.
It's just become the Fortnite island.
Okay. It's funny that you brought up
And things
Fortnite
are like getting pulled in.
because I was thinking today, I was like, damn, is there a world where we get Lonely Island stuff in Fortnite? I feel like we're not far from it, especially with how much music is a focus of Fortnite now. Yeah, I can see bare minimum jam packs, but I can see them being super on board with like wanting emotes and or skins in the game. So
I feel like Dick in a Box is the best emote.
I feel like they would.
Fortnite,
It would be. Yeah,
like,
they wouldn't though.
Yeah.
I would take Through Underground.
I don't think you're ever going to see any of that.
They put the Crip Walk in there. I mean, they can do it.
Oh, they put Snoop's Walk in.
Yeah, Snoop's Walk.
Different.
Yeah,
I just put my thing in a box.
It's my thing in a
It's my thing in a box.
It's Victory Royale in a box. It's a victory in a box.
Boo.
I mean, it's Fortnite, Mike. What do you want from me?
Better.
I'm not making the game. What else we want to talk about? Likes, dislikes, plot stuff, jokes. It's a really good. But is it a comedy? Is it a rom-com? What is this movie genred as? Because like it is a love story.
Sci-fi rom-com.
Sci-fi rom-com, yeah.
Yeah, I would put it. Let's see. I'm just thinking out loud. I want to compare it to Back to the Future in that it has a sci-fi element to it. It is still a comedy, and there's still a romance plot. But I would say that the romance plot is
That's probably a better movie to compare it to, Mike.
It probably is.
Like,
You want me to say Groundhog's Day?
Groundhog's Day?
No, I refuse. That's 2 on the nose. Especially because Groundhog's Day. Here's my pedantic delineation between the two. There's clearly a scientific element to Palm Springs, as there is to Back to the Future. Groundhog's Day is very specifically not science.
Karma?
Yeah, that one's actually karma. That one's, I don't know, religious, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, they theorize for half the movie that it's karma, why they're stuck
And
there.
they did theorize that, but how did they get out? Fucking explosions in science.
She learned quantum physics one day at a time.
I respect that that's how they got out. Is that she's like, all right, I got this. I'm going to learn science to figure out how I can get out of this, and it works.
I'm going to take
the
introductory quantum physics.
I wonder how long she was gone doing that. Yeah, I'm curious how long she was like.
The thing that I feel like the fact that she had at some point like video called with someone, in my head I was like, as she was like buying books and clearly watching videos and like trying to learn this stuff, in my head I was like, if you found the right scientist and you told them, hi, I'm currently stuck in this loop, can you come here? And like, I feel like the right scientist would fucking be like, yeah, I'm coming there now.
I don't think she said that. I think she just was asking questions.
Oh no, I don't think she was doing that either. I was just in my head. I was like, I feel like if she did reach out to the right scientist, they would fucking do that.
So let's just play that game.
You wouldn't be able to.
You call the scientist as soon as you wake up. Let's say 8:00.
Mm-hmm.
You have to convince him to come out. You have to get him on a plane. You have to drive him out to Palm Springs.
You know that stuff is gonna reset every day. So like, I would flat out say, here's my credit card. I will pay for all of this travel right now. Get in a vehicle. Get over here, because it's all gonna come back to you the next day. It's like when he's buying $100 candy bars.
But what vehicle are you using to get him there?
Whatever's quickest.
Still takes time.
Yeah, but you just don't have to sleep.
Yeah, I think really what it comes down to is like they do not want another Roy situation where like essentially they have to drag someone else.
Okay, that's fair.
Because they're gonna wake up in the loop. Miles away
right.
anyway too.
Yeah.
It's like then it's like all right, now I need to fly back out there to do the thing.
I do we don't need it in the film, but it would also be interesting to see Roy's first loop. I think that would be an interesting.
We did.
His first loop? No, we see him get.
We don't see his day. We don't see his day play.
Oh, we see the night when they take drugs.
We see him go. Yeah, we see like how he got put into the loop.
We don't see like him like waking up.
Yeah,
and going
like we see her realize.
You want his morning after.
I mean, we don't need his morning after. We don't need it, but I think it would be interesting just because of the like all of their scenarios are so different. Like we find out later that she's sleeping with her sister's soon-to-be husband. We see everything that Andy has going on. I think it would be interesting to see Roy's first waking up post-wedding, and he's at home, and he's like, huh? Yeah. And like the same shit starts happening. The kid's watering the fucking shit outside, and he's like, what is going on right now? I think it would be interesting to see, especially because his reaction seems to be very much so, I'm gonna fucking kill this guy. Like that's his like response. Like I think it would be an interesting thing to see.
Yeah, and also
it's not necessary, but it would be interesting to see.
I don't necessarily need an in-depth answer, but like I don't know what his job is. I don't know what he does. How did he get a police car in a police uniform and impersonate a police officer?
Maybe he is a cop. I don't know.
He has the knowledge of whatever I do doesn't matter, so he can just go into a police station and be like, I need all this stuff, or like he just does it because if they kill him, then they kill him. He gets another day.
And then how did he find that particular car with them driving? Apparently at that point he did not know Sarah was in the loop. He didn't know what car fucking.
Oh shit! Likes searching for plot holes.
I'm not looking.
He probably went to the wedding with the police car.
What was the plan?
Huh?
He's a relative of somebody there. Like they would recognize if he showed up. Like, you're not a cop. What are you doing here?
Yeah, but again, it doesn't matter.
So maybe he went to the wedding first, and they were like, oh yeah, the boyfriend already left. Like whatever.
Yeah, but maybe the cop was like, at the wedding, and he just like maybe there was a police officer at the wedding, and he just stole everything. Yeah. But also again, like even if it was like. They know he's not a cop. He showed up at the wedding just like up. He knows it doesn't matter because the next day.
I know he knows it doesn't matter. I'm just saying, like,
Andy goes to
get himself in that situation.
Yeah. Andy goes
shows up a cop. He's like, yeah, this is a surprise.
Surprise! I have a shotgun.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen.
Maybe he went one day and they were already gone. And he was like, oh, I got to find out where they're going. So maybe he like followed them in his own car one day.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, all right, now I know where they're going. So the next day I'm going to go with
they
this
probably
police
didn't
car.
do that same ride every single time. That's
he
like
has all the time in the world.
Yeah, well, I'm saying in one loop, if they do that thing, the next loop, they're probably going to do something different.
I do like... I'm going to take us off this topic because I feel like we're just not...
No, we need to get to the bottom of this right now.
Mike, pull up Reddit, start your thread going, and then share it so we can finally know what your Reddit name is. Mike is a burner Reddit just for theorizing about shit.
Yeah, I've got my porn Reddit, I've got my burner Reddit. They're two different things, like, and my theorizing Reddit.
Okay. I'm gonna you just dox yourself, Mike. I figured it out. I can see the reflection in your eyes.
All right.
Got it. Nailed it. Fuck, I lost my train of thought. Okay. So other things that I do like, especially because like a framing of at least the first half of the film is person stuck in this situation, new person entering the situation, one person who has a lot of knowledge of what's going on and like, cool, okay, like, yep, no, it doesn't matter, don't do that. Like, okay, so like don't go the self-harm route because like pain, you're still going to feel all that, like all these things. And when they go to drive into the truck where she's like, what are you doing? And he just takes his seatbelt off and puts his head against the deck. It's just like little things like that I think just kind of like sell the story of what's going on more to me. It just makes Andy's character feel more realized within that predicament. That like he's, I don't know. It's just like a striking thing to like rip his seatbelt off, just lay his head against the dashboard. I really enjoyed that. Like for pretty much the entirety of the movie, he is always walking around drinking beers, and then she starts doing it too because it's just like they realize like it just doesn't nothing fucking matters. Like we're just gonna do this while we're doing it. I think it's when he steps out of the car when J.K. Simmons is there as a police officer and he knows he's about to either get a lot of pain or whatever's going on. He like takes a big like swig of beer, like he's like I gotta go deal with this now. It's just, I don't know, it's just funny to me. There was a scene the first time, the beginning of the movie, when we get to the wedding speech for the first time, and Misty, Andy's girlfriend, I think she says something like, so I googled I googled what weddings, like what marriage means, or something stupid like that, and I laughed so fucking hard because I was like, man, that is really how a lot of these things are. Like, it's just...
Right.
Two of my favorite quotes were the watering shit one, and then the second one was when there's one of the mornings where Andy wakes up. Sarah runs into the room and's like, "You got to get up. You got to come with me. Like I've had enough of this." And the girlfriend's like, "Are you cheating on me?" And he goes, "No, you're cheating on me, you goof."
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. Jen laughs so hard when he said "you goof." Like it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then a few scenes later where that happens again, and he just like says her dialogue as she's saying it, and then at some point she's like, "Stop trying to act like you know everything," and it's so fucking funny. That actress is great at playing that character, like the whatever. It's very funny. It's a very funny movie. I am very, very happy to have watched this film. I still feel like even though the two of you apparently told us to watch it and Mike had it on his watch list, it still feels like a criminally underrated film. Like I feel like no one talks about this movie.
I mean, they don't, but I feel like
when I watched it
good
originally, I
movies
talked
that
about it a
people
lot, and then stopped, like I usually do.
Yeah.
I fucking watch something, and then I'm obsessed for like 3 weeks, and then I'm like, all right, okay, I'm good now. Got my fix.
I don't know. It's a fucking really good movie. I'm trying to think of what else to even say about it. I don't think I really have any complaints. Like I enjoyed my time with this movie. I don't think
I'm not making fun of Brenden right now, but the more I've been like watching stuff, and the more I have less time to watch stuff, I really do appreciate really tight movies that are like an hour and a half. Like
I didn't know where that phrase was gonna go. And you're like, I'm not making fun of Brenden right now. I'm like, what?
No, even like I mean, people were bitching that Arcane was a little rushed, but like I felt like it was just enough for me. Like that, like too much would have made me lose interest. And I feel like the same with this movie. This movie could have easily like if this was like a 2-hour movie, I feel like there would have been some stuff in there where I've been like, I didn't need that. And
I feel like in Groundhog's Day, they like implant things like you can like you see like the beginnings of him like learning the piano.
Yeah, it's a build up.
And then they like do a lot of build up. And this one, they're like, all right, like they just walk into the bar and they start doing the dance scene.
Yes,
like,
which is great.
They like didn't show you any of the lead up to that. It's clear that like there were days where they just learned this dance thing. And then they like
this is
they
what
just
we're gonna do today. Right,
instead of like showing the lead up to that, they were just like, all right, we're just gonna show it to you. Like there's no like we don't need to explain like why they can do this. Like they're stuck together in a time loop.
Yeah. I know. I like as much as I would have been, I think fine. I mean, this movie I really enjoyed. If it was 2 hours and it was done well, I don't think I would have personally minded. But at the same time, like, what would that extra 30 minutes give us? And it could have given us things that maybe would have been like, all right, we didn't need to see that, or whatever it may have been. So
it would have just been more shenanigans.
Yeah. It's a weird thing for me to even like pause it because it's like, okay, what does that even mean? Like, but I would have been fine with more of film of this quality because I really enjoyed my time with it. I think that it obviously has that sci-fi element of why things are happening. And I feel like even though, especially the back half, or I guess the kind of whole plot of the movie is how do we get out of here? it still doesn't feel weighed down by that. It doesn't feel like it's weighed down by setting up the world. It doesn't feel like it's weighed down by how they cement what is going on, and it doesn't feel weighed down by how they eventually get out. Like it does feel pretty crisp, pretty concise. Like it feels like it's a thing that knows what it wants to do, and it made you laugh and it give you some sincere moments in that journey. And I don't know, like it just is very well done. I'm extremely impressed, and also like, again, like I said at the beginning, I think the acting is phenomenal. Like Andy's great, Kristen is fantastic. Like to the point where I'm like, damn, I should probably watch more things that she is in, because I think she's a really good actress. Like she's very good in this movie. They're really good together. I think.
Good chemistry.
The other thing I said early too is that I like a lot of the dialogue in this movie. I think there's a lot of good jokes. I think there's a lot of good, throwaway stuff. And I as a love story, it's a little, wonky because it's a sci-fi thing and it's like doing a lot of stuff and it's also leaning into comedy. But I like the love story of the two of them too. I think it makes sense. It feels within the bounds of that world and the characters. I think it's like when he chooses to not reveal to her that he has indeed slept with her many times, like that feels like a sincere revelation that he has within that moment of like, actually, like I like spending time with this person. I don't want to ruin this. I am happy there's someone else stuck here with me. I'm enjoying their company. I've probably slept with fucking everyone in this scenario. I've been here for who knows how long. I've killed people here. Like I've done all of these things. And it's pretty much from that moment forward where Andy's biggest character growth happens, because it goes from like, I think he's a little, when we meet him, I think he's at the point of just kind of like, not that he's given up, but he feels like it's just a turn my brain off playground at this point where I'm just kind of like doing whatever the fuck I want at this point. Except for the days where J.K. Simmons is trying to kill me. It is what it is. Like I'm here doing this. I don't know what to do. I've given up on trying to figure out how to get out. I'm in this moment. And then when she starts poking at the how do we get out, and moving that plot forward, he starts to realize that like, there's more to this stuff than what it has been. There's more to, and he still wants to stay there at that point because he doesn't want to like lose her. But he also like, it's sort of the same time in the film where he also is trying to keep her from making decisions, not just like for physical pain, but for emotional pain, where he's like, listen, the stuff that we do in here, we still have done it. It doesn't matter that it resets tomorrow. Like, we still have to live with the fact that we did these things. And I think part of that is sparked by he has to like reconcile in his brain, like, yeah, I slept with this person 100 times. And like dealing with the ramifications of now this is a person that has that same, cognitive awareness that I do of what's going on. So immediately like starts to change how he is dealing with his situation. I don't know. It like has way more depth to it than it needs to, I think, and I think it works really well because I think it just adds so many more layers to the movie that I really appreciated. I don't know. I don't really.
Did you talk about how good their chemistry was to begin with?
Yeah, we just said that they had good chemistry. I mean, they're fantastic on the screen together. I think they
just did like an interview magazine thing. I was actually just trying to like read through it quickly. There was a couple things that I remembered from it. But like when she was like very recently, like the beginning of this month, it came out, and he's like congratulating her on Penguin and everything. And one of the things was, how does it feel to know that like you were able to land a spot on a Run the Jewels song before I was? it's Andy, because I guess she's like in one of the Run the Jewels songs.
Okay.
And like he's like the musically inclined of the two of them. Like,
Yeah.
It's just like it seems like even in like an interview between the two of them, like they have like that
Good
chemistry never went away.
Yeah. Yeah, they're fantastic together. It's a good movie. I don't know. I don't have anything else to say. I definitely don't have any negatives really. I tried to search for things that I didn't enjoy, but it was a ride. I was locked in for it. Like I was just present for the movie and enjoying my time with it. Like it was. What I will say is, again, because I didn't know the conceit up front, I had that slight little maybe there's something going on. Almost spoiled for me. But the way that initial scene goes, if you don't catch on to the fact that there's something going on here or that it isn't a time loop, you could take the impression that Andy's character is a fucking scumbag and or douchebag up to a certain point in the beginning of the film, just based on like what he's doing. And the limited
he is kind of a scumbag.
Yeah, he definitely is.
He's been there for 40 years, though. I get why he's a scumbag.
Yeah, like it's without knowing it's a time loop. Like, yes, you are introduced to a guy who clearly is not sexually attracted to his partner. He then is like very, kind of going against the grain of everyone else at the wedding, both in like attire, his actions, everything he's doing. And then he's very clearly like flirting with another person where it's like, okay, so like maybe this guy's whatever. And I was like, oh, do I have to like deal with a guy that I don't really want to like in this movie? And then I'm gonna have to fight with like having to like him. And then you immediately are like, okay, all that kind of gets wiped away when you figure out it's a fucking time loop. So I'm happy that it wasn't like I gotta grapple with Andy being a douchebag for a fucking hour and a half. A douchebag that couldn't be redeemed.
Like you learn like why he's
like that. Yeah. Again, like it's a fantastical scenario. So it's like how someone acts in that way is like it's like not regular human nature. It's not like that's just if that's just how he was in regular life, then yeah, this guy's a fucking douchebag. But it's not regular life. Any other people closing thoughts? Anything else they want to bring up or mention about the movie before we move on?
How do we think Andy got stuck in the loop?
That's a great question, because that is so far. That cave is so off the beaten path. It appears like.
And the thing is that if his introduction to the loop is entering the cave, that means the one night of the actual wedding, he had to have found himself at that cave. So how would he even end up over there?
I wonder if something happened with him discovering Misty cheating on him and him, I don't know, running off. That's the only thing that I could picture happening at the wedding. In the current loop, or like in the default loop.
I guess that makes that
I need to get out of here.
That makes sense. I don't hate that. I also still, wouldn't be surprised if the Nana is like some sort of like it's like omnipotent player.
It raises a new question, which is that, like, if in the original timeline he goes in, does that mean there's always going to be a version of him that gets stuck in a loop?
In the original timeline, if he's the first one to go in,
yeah.
If he's the first one to go in,
and then he eventually gets out, like. Ignoring Roy for a second, like if the loop plays out, him and Sarah get out, then we see a loop play out again as the day should have progressed initially. That means he should then therefore go back into the cave and end up in a new loop. Roy kind of messes with things because like he introduces a new element where like, hey, what's going on? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about, and like maybe he doesn't walk by the bathroom and sees girlfriend cheating on him, so he doesn't go in.
Yeah, maybe he
But
breaks the loop.
without Roy,
Yeah.
he will do the same thing and end up looping. I don't know. Time stuff is weird.
Yeah.
I do like that character's name is Roy because it just makes me think like Andy just named him Roy because he loves his fucking brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rules.
Any other things that anyone wants to?
Do you have your movie for?
Oh yeah, what's your movie?
Oh, we're doing that? We're doing a movie right now? So we're done with this movie. We're done. We have wrapped on Palm Springs. Okay. So I have a lot of things swirling in my head, and I don't really know what to do. And I need to... Next year, I'm going to have a list of movies in my phone that I would like to watch, and I'm not straying from that list. And that's going to be what I do next year. But to close out this year, I thought, I don't really know. I have some things I want to watch, but I don't know if I want to put them as the movie club thing. So we're going to play a little something from Dom's playbook, which is we're going to play a little game. And everyone's going to participate. So the way this is going to work is I have 4 categories. Each of you are going to pick either... No, you know what? As a group, you need to decide which category you want. And that will hold the movie that we watch.
I'm going to drag this show out so long, no matter what, I'm not agreeing.
Fantastic.
But before we do that, thank you so much, everybody, for listening to this week's episode 448 of the Pass Control Podcast. If you're a friend of the show, fan of the show, like I said earlier in the show, leave us a quick 5-star review wherever you listen to the show, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening right now. Leave us a quick 5-star review. It's super helpful. We appreciate you if you do. Audio listeners, we do record live every week, twitch.tv/passcontroller. We also put that video up on YouTube later. If you can't catch the live show, just search Pass the Controller Podcast, and you will find that. Tons of ways to give us money, tons of ways to support us, but really, at this episode right now, I'm asking for a 5-star review. That's the thing we'd love. If you want to support us, that would be amazing. Before we do that, everything else we do, you can find at passthecontroller.io. Game reviews, think pieces, cocktail recipes, whatever it may be, you want to check us out doing other stuff, go to passthecontroller.io. You can find all of that. Okay. We want to do the game first, or you want to hear the movie first?
It's you.
It's up to you. I don't care.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's your show.
Let's figure out this movie then. Okay. So as a group, you need to decide which category you want to go. And the categories are theme, Jen, Brenden, or chaos.
Was the first one just theme? I'm sorry, but did I mishear that?
Theme. You get no other information.
I feel like theme would probably be time loop movies, maybe. I don't know. Going off of what we just watched, but
Let's see.
This is just picking this month's movie.
yes,
This is just
yes.
picking my pick for December.
Yes, we got to get through these. What was the last thing you said? Chaos, and what was before Chaos?
Brenden.
Just pick Chaos.
The Chaos, yeah.
Okay.
We're all doing chaos?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
listen,
dude.
I feel like whatever you're hiding behind Brenden probably sucks.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like the Sandlot or something, you know? It's gonna be like fucking. No, it's gonna be like Hocus Pocus.
So Brenden,
It's gonna be Hoobie Halloween. That's what we're gonna get.
Brenden was going to be a movie that I wanted to watch, which
No
was
kidding.
The Boy and the Heron.
Thank
I
God.
already watched it. So
Alright,
I'm-
oof.
Well, I have others under that, but we didn't pick it, so it doesn't matter. If there were like crossover of people seeing it, I had a list of things under me. Everything else is one. So, and I have a feeling that chaos nobody has seen. So actually, let me just make sure we can actually watch this. Hold on.
Come on. Oh, I thought we were going to like another round. I didn't know this was like
No, you have picked. You have picked. Yes, we can watch. This movie is available. Okay. Jen would have been 200 cigarettes.
Okay.
Theme would have been continuing our Lonely Island journey, and it would have been Hot Rod. But
so I was kind of on.
Yeah, you were close. You were close. Because you picked Chaos, we are now going to watch a holiday film.
Christmas with the Cranks?
That just came out a few weeks ago.
The Jack Black one?
No, I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay.
We are watching the Netflix film Hot Frosty.
Oh God.
Do any of you know what this is?
Yes.
No.
Do you want to know what it is, or do you want to go in without that knowledge?
No, go in blind.
I'll go in blind. That's fine.
Let them go in blind.
I will give you... Actually, no. I won't give you anything.
No.
So it's available on Netflix. It is a Netflix film. So you will do need...
Do I know anything about this film?
You know people in this movie.
I probably know people in, like, I think I just know actors, so that makes sense. I'm just trying to picture if I've ever seen anything about the movie before. And either I haven't, which would be ideal, or I have, and that's why I've got, like, an idea of, like, they make a snowman and he comes to life and he's just hot, which would be unfortunate if that's a real plot.
I mean, it could be, Mike. It could just be the plot.
A real plot and not just the ravings of a madman.
I just, for my own knowledge, I won't reveal this to you. I'm curious where this is sitting on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm just curious. I won't say anything. Oh, okay. Sure.
Oh, okay. It's a 0.
It's an hour and a half. It's listed as a romance, comedy, fantasy holiday.
I've already seen it.
No, you haven't.
I haven't seen it.
I saw the trailer for this movie, and I just looked at Jen, and I was like, what the fuck is this? So you wanted Chaos. We got Chaos in December. So
there's a Jack Black movie from the Farrelly brothers, like who did like Dumb and Dumber and everything that's out right now.
Oh,
and
it has the Satan one? Like,
yeah, when he like the kid writes a letter to Satan instead of Santa. It has horrible reviews, but like something about I've read, and I might just watch the movie. They said the last 15 minutes, whoever made these choices is the most fucked up human being in the world. Like every person I've heard say that about the ending of the movie, I'm like, oh man, I need to like actually watch the end of them. I might need to watch this now. Like maybe not with the kids. Though.
The poster says from the minds who brought you Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wait, the poster for which?
Dear Santa.
Yeah,
okay.
Not Hot Frosty. No, let's see
that's why I was confused. Is that also a Farley Brothers movie?
Yeah, right.
Hot Frosty movie poster. I don't know if Netflix movies have movie posters, but
I've already seen the poster of the movie.
let's see if it has a tagline. It took a snowman to melt her heart, and that's all you get. That's all you get.
It sounds like Mike was right.
yeah, it sounds like I was right.
Wait, what? About what?
They made
About
a hot
whatever
snowman.
I think. Yeah, they make a snowman who comes to life and he's just hot.
Do you want to know? Do you want to know what?
I don't want to know.
Okay.
I'm just upset that your tagline seems to fall in line with my thing. Remember when they made the hamburger hot?
I do not know.
I do.
Oh, that was a thing.
I'm just getting concerned now because now I'm on the IMDb page for this movie, and the two people that I thought were like the main people in this movie are way lower. So now I'm also nervous for this movie because it might not be what I thought it was going to be, which is even worse.
You chose this.
I need
No,
to watch,
very
I need to
clearly,
watch,
the three of
holiday-
you chose this movie.
I need to watch a holiday film just so I can complain about it. So it's
Well, there you go. Now you got Hot Frosty. So
We've already watched a bunch.
we'll talk Hot Frosty at the end of December. So
Let's go.
you can look forward to that. And again, I'll preface this with what we've been doing the last few months. It's the holidays, so I know we were surprisingly on time this month, but with Christmas and New Year's, who knows if things will get moved around. So around the end of the month, the beginning of January, we'll talk about Hot Frosty. So there is that. But without further ado, that brings us to everyone's favorite part of the episode, right before it's over, which is the game. The way this works, we keep track of score for the year, and as it stands right now, Dom is still in first place with 59, but Mikey fucking D, couple of bullseyes back-to-back weeks, putting himself tied in second place with 46 points with Todd. So big week to see who's going to either remain where they are or shake it off. Shake the other person off and get out of tied in second. Mike's been trailing all season.
So it's a Taylor Swift theme for movies right now.
Yeah,
That's why I literally was like, where's he going with this?
You're reading into too much. Okay. Movie number 1. This 2013 rated R film clocks in at a big old 3 hours.
2013 rated R.
3 hours.
3 big bones on that clock. Let's see what our friends at Rot Tom have to say. This has a tomato meter of 79% and a popcorn meter of 83.
I was very positive about my pick, and now I am not. Let's see.
Rotten Tomatoes says you might also enjoy The Sessions. I, Tonya. Don't worry, he won't get far. There's more to that title, and I can't. It's ellipses. So, Vice and Made in Dagenham.
Is it Wolf of Wall Street?
It is indeed Wolf of Wall Street.
I thought that was higher, man.
That was
Like, yeah. And what's her name's in it?
Margot.
Christina Milioti.
Christina Milioti. There you go. There you go.
79 critics, huh? I'm still surprised by that.
That was a Best Picture nominee too, right?
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah. I already closed out of the tabs for it. Movie number 2. This 2002 rated PG-13 film clocks in at 2 hours and 1 minute.
Spider-Man.
It is indeed Spider-Man.
2001? Is that the first Spider-Man?
2002. It was supposed to come out in 2001.
The first, Tobey Maguire one.
Brendan's changing the third movie.
I am indeed changing the third movie right now. Or am I?
No, you are.
Let me try that again. Or am I?
I'm not changing my answer.
If you did pick the Brenden pick and we didn't choose Boy and the Heron, Saturday Night was also in that running because I really want to watch that movie.
Yeah, I haven't watched that yet either.
And you know what? This one, movie number 3, was also in that list. Ooh. This 2017 PG-13 movie clocks in at 1 hour and 37 minutes and almost became the December movie pick.
Hot Rod?
Incorrect.
How long is the movie?
1 hour and 37 minutes, according to IMDb.
Not bad.
2017.
Our friends over at Rot Tom have this at a tomato meter of 83 and a popcorn meter of 87.
17.
They PG-13. Okay. Rotten Tomatoes says you might also enjoy Uncle Drew, Night School, I Hate Kids, Speech and Debate, and
This is going to be your pick?
it was on the list, No Manches Frida.
17.
Let me pull up this. Hold on. Let me find the budget because it's not listed here. According to the internet, this movie had a budget of. Why is it not? Why can't I find the budget? Budget's not listed. I can't find the budget. So, this movie had a worldwide gross of $681,000, according to Box Office Mojo.
Ouchies.
Figured that's where we were going. Probably barely had a theatrical run.
Let's take a little peek here. We got under this tab. It has 11 award nominations, including 5 wins. For
all Razzies and MTV Movie
Raspberries.
Okay, it has a Golden Camera nominee at the 2017 Cannes Film Festival. It has a nomination for Best Narrative Feature at the Melbourne International Film Festival. It was the winner of Top 10 Independent Films for National Board of Review, USA. 2017 winner for Narrative at the Provincetown International Film Festival. Bunch of other things. It was a 2017 nominee Grand Jury Prize for Sundance Film Festival. And then a few other similar festivals. So no Razzies.
What else am I not thinking
Let's
of?
take a sneaky peek. Let's look down this avenue.
We're gonna rock onto Electric Avenue.
That's not going to be helpful. We're going to skip that. Let's go with. Let's do this one. And again, this is in order of how IMDb lists the leading people. So, according to them, the third billed actor, you may recognize them from such things as Into the Storm, Ted, Veep, and The Hangover.
Okay.
You may also recognize them from. None of that's going to be helpful. I'm not even going to say it. Okay, let's move on to the second billed actor, who you may recognize from such things as Bumblebee, Love, Simon, Spider-Man Homecoming, and Night Teeth.
I can't connect anyone from Bumblebee.
Yeah, I'm probably forgetting some secondary characters.
100%.
We're just going to hop right up to the top billed actor, who you may recognize from such things as... Interesting. You may recognize from such things as Zoolander 2.
Literally everyone.
Saturday Morning All-Star Hits.
My favorite.
And Y2K.
The one that's about to come out? Is
I forget the kid's name in that. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh. No.
You may also recognize...
Is this Hunt for the Wildebeest? Hunt for the Wildebeest?
Incorrect. You may also recognize them from, I'll just go in order of release here, Unfrosted, the TV series Hamster and Gretel, 1 episode, the TV series Miracle Workers, 3 episodes, 1 episode of Killing It.
None of this is going to help me.
no hard feelings. I'll skip TV stuff, except for this. 183 episodes of Saturday Night Live.
Okay, so wait a minute. When you said I'm going to skip TV stuff, like I'm almost positive it's going to be an SNL cast.
Well, I was just skipping more, like one episode.
I know, but when you said that, I'm like, maybe I'm wrong about it. But then you went back and confirmed, like, oh no, there were a bunch of episodes.
Is this? I don't know the name of this.
I want to guess. Yeah, there's a movie I want to guess, but I don't remember the full title.
It's not called Glory, is it?
Incorrect. I'm blown away by this, and now I'm gonna need to look into this myself after. But 14 episodes of Arrested Development.
So I think it was called like Brisby Bear or Brixby Bear. I forget what it was called.
I will.
It's called Brigsby Bear.
I will give it to Mike. It is Brigsby Bear.
Yeah. Because I know
Kyle Mooney.
Kyle Mooney, yeah.
Who's Kyle Mooney?
Was it Haley Steinfeld?
But who is she in Spider-Man?
Oh no, the second billed person in the
Homecoming.
movie is.
Oh, I didn't hear Homecoming. I thought he said Into the Spider-Verse for some reason.
The second billed person is Jorge Lendeborg Jr.
I'm gonna guess that was the father.
Was Matt Walsh the third?
Matt Walsh was the third one. Yeah. I don't know. Let's see. You got Michaela Watkins, Claire Danes, Ryan Simpkins, Greg Kinnear, Mark Hamill. Who did you ask for? I don't see Haley Steinfeld.
No. Mike corrected me anyways.
Okay.
Wait, did we figured out the connection to Bumblebee?
Jorge Lendeborg plays Memo.
He's the dad.
He plays Memo, whoever that is.
Oh, then I don't know. That might be one of the robots.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, he's like really low down on the list.
So he's apparently he plays Murphy Brown in Arrested Development. Is that in the Netflix part?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. I don't remember him showing up. Anyways.
Yeah, I've never seen him before.
Really?
Yeah.
Because Todd doesn't watch SNL.
Yeah, but he pops up in other stuff. He's actually been popping up in a lot of shit lately. He also was on SNL like last week or the week before for some reason. Me and Jen looked at each other, why the fuck is he here? Like, he's just here for no reason. He's just in sketches. I like Kyle. I think Kyle's funny.
Oh, he was the next door neighbor. Okay.
But that leaves the week with everyone getting a point, so the scoreboard remains the same position-wise. Dom still in first with 60, Mike and Todd with 47. That'll do it for this week's episode. We appreciate you, and we will see you next time.